What's going on, folks? I'm Des with DesFit, and today Garmin's announced the new vívoactive 4, the successor to the very popular vívoactive 3, but they've also announced a brand new device called the Venue. So in this video, we're just going to go through all the details. Let's start with the vívoactive 4. So the vívoactive 3 was a very popular device, and Garmin let that ride for a long time. They did have an update with the vívoactive 3 Music, but the whole vívoactive 3 lineup proved to have a lot of staying power. Now, a big departure is that there's now going to be two different size options. So there's going to be a 40mm version as well as a 45mm version. So with the 40mm version, you can get a 1.1 inch display with 218 by 218 pixels, where with the 45mm version, you're going to get a 1.3 inch display with 260 by 260 pixels. So that's actually the same size display as the mid-size Fenix 6. And I've been rocking the mid-size Fenix 6 for about a week now, and I can definitely tell you that that definitely makes a big difference from the old 240 by 240 pixel displays that Garmin's been using for a long time now. The display is going to be protected by Gorilla Glass 3, and then there's going to be a few different options for the stainless steel bezel, and you can choose from slate, silver, and then there's going to be a rose gold as well as a light gold color that are only available on the 40mm version. So all in all, as of launch, there's going to be 4 different color options for the smaller version and then 2 options for the larger version. In addition, the 40mm version is going to rock industry standard 18mm bands, and then the 45mm version is going to rock 22mm industry standard bands. So there's going to be plenty of options to choose from. And then another big departure is that they've now gone to 2 buttons rather than just a single button on the vívoactive 3. And I think this is a really wise choice because one button definitely looks nice and clean, but it does have some compromises in terms of usability, especially in a fitness scenario. It still utilizes the touchscreen, but with the additional button, it should make it much easier to use, especially in a fitness scenario where you can use the top button as a start, stop, and enter button, and then the bottom button can be used as a lap key as well as a back button. And then in regards to battery life, Garmin's claiming up to 7 days in smartwatch mode on the 40mm version and up to 8 days of battery life on the 45mm version. And then if you're using GPS plus music, they're saying up to 5 hours for the 40mm version and up to 6 hours on the 45mm version. But they don't have any published specs quite yet on just using GPS without music, but I'll definitely update a comment in the comment section down below when I get that info. But with the original vívoactive 3, it didn't quite live up to the battery claims, so it's going to be really interesting to see how the vívoactive 4 pans out. All right, so that's everything new on the hardware end of things for the vívoactive 4, but there's actually plenty of new stuff in terms of the smartwatch as well as the fitness features, but they actually are pretty much going to be identical to the Venue. So let's go ahead and talk about the Venue for a second, and then we'll just go ahead and wrap things up with all the new stuff with the smartwatch as well as the fitness features that are going to be shared on both of them. So a comment that's not exactly uncommon when it comes to a Garmin device is that the display is just not going to be as vibrant or as crisp as something like an Apple Watch or a Samsung Galaxy Watch active right here. But in all fairness, Garmin displays are going to be more optimized for readability in direct sunlight as well as longer battery life. However, Garmin listened, and now they've launched the Venue with a brand new AMOLED display. And here's the specs for that display. So it's a 1.2 inch display, which kind of splits the difference between the 1.1 inch and the 1.3 inch of the vívoactive 4s that I mentioned earlier. But it's going to be packing a whopping 390 by 390 pixels. And then with this new AMOLED display, you'll also be getting something they're going to be calling live watch faces, which will have a nice, super pretty animation that could be quite captivating. Of course, that AMOLED display is going to cost a little bit. So basically they're advertising up to 5 days in smartwatch mode and then up to 6 hours when you're using GPS plus music. And you may be asking, is that 5 days with the AMOLED display and always on display? Well, no, it's actually going to be an always off display, but you can wake it up with a gesture or a button press. However, they actually will have an always on display mode, which will use a low power watch face, which will get you about 2 to 3 days of battery life, depending on your settings. All right, so that's everything new that's going to be unique to the vívoactive 4 as well as the Venue, but everything I'm going to be talking about from here on out is pretty much going to be identical on both of them. So on the smartwatch end of things, you're going to get Garmin Pay with both, as well as a wide selection of music services that you can use to download playlists and tracks to your device, including Spotify, Deezer, as well as Amazon Music. The smartwatch notifications and the text capabilities are going to be pretty much the same as any Garmin device before this, where they'll be able to get one-way notifications on an iPhone, and then if you're on an Android device, you'll be able to respond to text messages using predefined responses that you can set up in Garmin Connect. In regards to the new health and fitness features, you'll now get body battery, which has been available on all other Garmin wearables that have been released this year, which kind of gives an indication of your energy levels throughout the day. And I've actually found this metric to be pretty much in line with how I feel throughout the day, so it's nice to see that in there. And then they're also going to have stress tracking, which is going to be a basic HRV measurement. Oh, and while we're talking about heart rate, both of them are going to have the latest generation Elevate heart rate sensor, which also has a Pulse OX sensor, which helps monitor your blood oxygen levels and can be helpful for more advanced sleep tracking. In addition, they've also added respiration tracking, which can help monitor how you're breathing throughout the day. And then they're also going to have abnormal heart rate alerts. And then two more things that the vívoactive 4 as well as the Venue are going to get are going to be the ability to track women's menstrual cycles. And then you're also going to be able to log your hydration intake to make sure you're going to be more consistent with your water intake from day to day. All right, so now onto the sports end of things. So both of these are going to have GPS built into the device, so you're going to be able to track outdoor activities without having to carry your phone. In regards to the sport profiles, both of them are going to have 20 plus different sport profiles to choose from. So you're going to get stuff like running, both indoors and outdoors, cycling, both indoors and outdoors as well. You're going to get pool swimming, but no open water swimming. And then you're going to get some outdoor recreational profiles. So both of them will get golf. And then you'll also get stuff like cross-country skiing, stand-up paddleboarding, rowing, but you'll also get downhill skiing and snowboarding. And both of those sport profiles actually utilize an altimeter, which both of these actually do have. And by the way, if you want a demonstration on how this downhill skiing profile actually works, I'll have a video linked in the description below as well as up here or somewhere like that. And then finally, there's going to be gym-based profiles like strength training, cardio, and elliptical training, stair steppers, floor climbing, indoor rowing, yoga, Pilates, as well as breath work. Now, one completely brand new thing to come to any Garmin device is that they're now going to be offering 40 plus animated workouts, which can help you guide through strength training, cardio, yoga, and Pilates. And Garmin's definitely taking a cue from the likes of Fitbit as well as Samsung, so it's going to be interesting to see how these are actually implemented. They also are going to have Garmin Coach, which can help you create personalized training programs if you want to train for like a 5K or a 10K. Okay, and seriously, this is actually the last thing, is that both of them will get the safety and tracking features like instant detection as well as get assistance. And finally, let's talk about price. So with the vívoactive 4, that's going to run $350, and that's whether you get the 40mm version or the 45mm version. And like I said, there is no non-music or music version. It's just $350. That's it. Now, the Venue, that's going to run $400. So that's going to be interesting to see how well that price is going to be received, considering it is going to be competing in that whole Fitbit Ionic, Apple Watch, Galaxy Watch Active type of market. But to sum things up, the vívoactive 4 seems like a nice solid update from the vívoactive 3 and the vívoactive 3 Music. The two different size options are nice to see, as well as the addition of pretty much all the features that we saw come to the Forerunner 245. The Venue is equally, if not more interesting, as that sports that AMOLED display, which is a huge departure from transflected displays that they've used basically forever. And you really can think of these as very similar devices, other than the fact that the Venue does have that AMOLED display, and then the vívoactive 4 is going to be using the same transflected displays that Garmin's been using for a long time, but at least you do get those two different size options. Anyways, if you liked the video, if you found this video useful, make sure to hit that like button down below, and also make sure to subscribe for plenty of fitness and sports tech videos that are coming soon. In the meantime, have fun with your fitness, and we will see you in the next video.